Hello, good evening. Welcome to Friday's North West Tonight with me, Phil McCann. Thank you for joining us. Our top story. A mother is seriously injured after being savaged by an XL bully dog in Fleetwood.
The neighbours all rushed in together, literally like right there on the corner. Police, ambulance, air ambulance. It was just mad.
It's thought she was looking after the dog for her nephew who was on holiday. Also tonight, no trains through Stockport for 3 weeks as an historic rail bridge and roundabout is replaced. The Cheshire farm with 1 million sunflowers and why they aren't as tall this year.
Just when you think you've kind of grasped how to grow them and the best way to go around it, the year after the weather throws something else at you. So it's been really, really dry this year. So our sunflowers aren't quite as tall as they have been in the past.
And I'm here in Beetham in Cumbria. It's been a day of posties, fairies, snow leopards and Pythagoras the python. What have I been up to? You'll have to wait and find out at the end of the programme. And of course, I'll bring you the full forecast.
A woman in Fleetwood is being treated for serious injuries after she was attacked by an XL bully. It's understood the dog, which was legally owned, belonged to the victim's nephew. Well, let's cross now to Anna Jameson, who is live in Fleetwood. And Anna, a traumatic 24 hours for people there.
Yeah, many neighbours, Phil, have been tearful as they've been reliving the events of yesterday afternoon. It happened just before 5 o'clock when an XL bully dog here on Wingrove Road in Fleetwood was in the back property of a garden, in the back garden there. Now, the victim tried to get the dog to go inside, but instead it chased her and attacked her round the front of the house in what neighbours described as a brutal attack. It was a chaotic charge. Children were playing outside on the street. One eyewitness said he did everything he could to try and loosen the dog's grip. Another neighbour is said to have attempted to run the XL bully over before another man came out with a machete and attacked the dog. Now, Lancashire Police on arrival seized and destroyed it, but clearly the incident has terrified many families here.
Police, ambulance, air ambulance. It was just mad.
You've got kids?
Yeah. I've got 2 young children. I've got a 5 and a 7-year-old, so there was no way I was letting my door open, no. I'm now thinking about proper securing my gate because you just don't know.
My son was in the garden and he said something's gone on, so I've literally chucked my bike in the garden, ran up the street. I've got to the lady's house and I've seen the dog literally hanging from her arm, and then obviously the guy with the machete is in there trying to hack at the dog to get it off the lady's arm. I've gone behind the woman and I've sat with her, I'm holding onto her arm with the paramedics. It was just such a traumatic thing to watch.
So that was the incident. What more, Anna, do we know about the victim?
Well, we know she's in her 40s. She's still being treated in hospital for serious injuries to her arm. She's said to be in a stable condition, and in the last few minutes the family have texted me to say they're horrified and devastated by this whole ordeal. But thank you to everyone in the area for their support and kindness. Now, neighbours have told me that the dog never usually leaves the house without a muzzle. It's very well behaved. Of course, that ban for XL bullies came in February last year. You can have exemptions as an exemption certificate, which this owner had, meaning it was a legally kept dog, but still many questions are being asked today about its safety and how this frenzied attack happened in the first place. Phil.
All right, Anna, thanks very much. Anna Jameson there live in Fleetwood tonight. Next, there'll be major disruption on the trains south of Manchester for the next 3 weeks as what's being described as a once-in-a-generation operation to replace an old railway bridge and roundabout, as you can see there, takes place. It's just next to Stockport's railway station and we'll see hundreds of engineers working round the clock to meet the target date for reopening. Kevin Fitzpatrick reports.
When a railway bridge needs replacing and there's a roundabout on top of it, it turns into a pretty big job. This weekend, the months-long £20 million project comes to a head, and it means a 50-mile stretch of the railway south of Stockport is being shut.
It's a mix of nerves and excitement at this moment in time. This has been so much build-up, so much meticulous planning, and this is kind of the exciting part before we start the day of the races.
Well, this is where the Greek Street Road roundabout used to be. It's been cleared over recent months. Underneath here, there are 5 tracks of the West Coast Main Line, usually used by more than 500 trains a day. And the construction team have just 3 weeks to lift this bridge out and drop a new one in.
They've been having a practice in Northern Ireland, where the pieces of the new bridge have been constructed. From tomorrow, they start the operation proper, and hundreds of engineers will be on site 24 hours a day to get the job done on time.
We'll initially just drop the electrical wires which run the trains. We'll then deconstruct the bridge in 70 separate loads that will be taken away from site. We'll then build the new bridge, which is 40 pieces, which have been shipped over from Ireland. We'll then reinstate the deck and reinstate the wires to hand back the railway to normal operation on the 23rd of August.
In the meantime, there'll be significant disruption, with no trains through Stockport station and rail replacement buses for passengers on this key route.
Our message for the customers is to plan before you travel, to check the National Rail website and just to allow a little bit more time for the journeys. They will get there, it just might take a little bit longer.
The project's already had a huge impact on the local area, and there are still some months to go before it returns to normal.
From a council perspective, we're really grateful for the patience that our residents are showing, our local businesses are showing here in Stockport. But it's a long time that it's going to be closed, that 3 weeks over the summer. But Stockport isn't closed and Edgeley isn't closed. We're very much open for business.
A further £23 million of rail improvement works will take place along the closed section of the line over these weeks. The new bridge is expected to last 120 years. Kevin Fitzpatrick, BBC North West Tonight, Stockport.
An investigation's underway to find the cause of a fire that severely damaged a house in Blackpool. More than 30 firefighters were called to Normos Avenue yesterday evening to deal with the blaze, which is believed to have started in the attic of the house. The occupants were able to escape after they were alerted by their smoke alarms. Lancashire Police say they'll be cracking down on drunk and drug driving with randomised spot checks on drivers. The force has reissued its plea to stop people getting behind the wheel whilst inebriated after they revealed that they were arresting 7 people on average every day for drug and drink driving offences. And an event deep in the heart of Lakeland's sporting calendar took place yesterday. Ambleside Sports is a much-loved feature of the calendar for locals and can trace its origins all the way back to the 17th century. Events included wrestling, grass track cycling and hound trails.
Nobody gets paid anything, we just come because we want to do it, and we want to do it for the rest of the community. And of course the locals like that, we're all locals anyway, but that encourages them to come and support it, which they do in abundance.
Now, a year ago last month, an official report found Greater Manchester Police was making arrests that were unnecessary and unlawful and that were re-traumatising people who'd survived abuse. Well, the report by the former Government Victims Commissioner Dame Vera Baird recommended lots of changes, and now the force says it's done everything that she recommended. Dame Vera now, though, wants more action nationwide. We'll hear from her in a moment. First of all, here's a reminder of some of what she found.
Because right now, at this moment in time, you're under arrest.
Arrests that were unnecessary.
Just let us in and we can talk about it proper.
And unlawful.
You don't have to say anything.
That was the finding against Greater Manchester Police in the Baird inquiry a year ago last month. And we've reported other instances where it's alleged that's happened, including since Dame Vera's review. It all started with Zaina Iman from Salford, strip-searched and left topless when she was brought to Pendleton Police Station 4 years ago. She claimed she was later drugged and sexually assaulted during 2 hours when CCTV footage is missing. Zaina went public 2 years ago. It led to protests and then a response from the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
We've asked Dame Vera Baird, Casey, a very senior criminal barrister, former Victims Commissioner, to discuss with us how we might bring her in.
Dame Vera Baird's inquiry out last year looked at the arrests of 12 women and 2 men, but not Zaina's. She told us she had no confidence in it. The inquiry found 7 of the arrests were unnecessary or unlawful. The treatment of the suspects was degrading and humiliating. and strip searches were often used as a weapon of control.
I think the police made victims out of people who were already victims.
GMP immediately banned strip searches for so-called welfare reasons and now says it's implemented the rest of Dame Vera's recommendations. That includes providing dignity packs, including sanitary products for female suspects, and retraining on when voluntary interviews could be used instead of arrests. But over the last year, we've reported on the cases of 3 women, all who said they were victims of domestic abuse or rape, who said they were arrested unnecessarily. One, referred to as Natalia, won a settlement and an apology from the force. In all cases, the men they'd accused were invited to voluntary interviews instead of being arrested. Jessie's arrest happened after Dame Vera's review. No charges were brought against any of them. Well, earlier on I spoke to Dame Vera Baird and she told me what she made of Greater Manchester Police's progress.
There was some training required, and if they have trained everybody as they said that they would, that should make a significant difference. People were being arrested when they were traumatised, and really that was a fairly simple thing to teach people to recognise. So that would be good. They did accept all the recommendations, and of course there is a scrutiny panel which is now looking at whether they're actually implementing them. So I'm very pleased if they are speaking now fulfilling and not just adopting.
Well, the first thing that Greater Manchester Police did when your report came out last year is announce that they had completely banned strip searches for so-called welfare reasons. Now, I know that you want the Chief Constable, Stephen Watson, to kind of team up with you almost, don't you, to try to outlaw that nationally?
It's very difficult for any other police force, in my view, to say we need to use this power to strip search people for welfare purposes, and it is anything but for welfare purposes. When the second biggest force in the UK, this one, Greater Manchester, doesn't use it. By definition, almost, the strip search is a major intrusion into human rights, which can only be justified for reasons like the investigation of crime. Now, if Greater Manchester Police say we don't need to use it for that permitted purpose, it isn't permitted, and they are really putting in a difficult place other forces. You know, to be demeaned in that way is capable of being profoundly traumatising, particularly if you've already been traumatised in a different way.
And if we look more broadly, since your report now, Greater Manchester Police has a special panel which looks at arrests that have been made to work out if they've been done properly. There's training for officers about when to use voluntary interviews instead of arrests, training on working with abuse survivors who are traumatised. Are these not recommendations that, well, should be brought in nationwide as opposed to just in Greater Manchester?
What was happening in Greater Manchester, presumably propelled by the need to increase the number of arrests, because you'll remember that they had been in the doldrums and very criticised for not arresting enough people earlier than this. Presumably what happened in Manchester was that people became overzealous. Now, I don't know if that's happening everywhere else. So what I'm saying is the law already says arrests are, unless an arrest is necessary, it's unlawful. And I'm hopeful that that is operating in other places. And this was an aberration in Greater Manchester.
Dame Vera Baird, thank you very much. Now, what could be more cheerful than a field full or a studio full of sunflowers? You might have been growing some yourself. Alex and Simon from Crew Green Farm in Cheshire have grown 1 million of them, and they've been welcoming visitors from far and wide, of course, to pick them. But this year they've noticed that they are not as tall as they normally are. Our reporter Zoe Toes has been to find out more.
In the heart of Cheshire, a sea of yellow has bloomed.
This year we've got about 4 hectares of sunflowers planted, and they go, you know, as far as we can see. Even on a dull day, they shine bright. I'm always saying it's always sunny in the sunflower field, even if it's raining.
This farm in Crewe has been welcoming visitors for the past 5 years.
When Alex started it, you know, people were coming up the drive and seeing the sunflowers from the road, so, you know, and people were asking to pick them, so that's where it spiralled until we grew a few more and then grew a few more, and eventually we've ended up with what we've got now.
But this year's dry, hot weather has brought many challenges. Flowers are shorter than usual and blooming earlier than expected.
It is very difficult. The weather plays a huge part in that. Just when you think you've kind of grasped how to grow them and the best way to go around it, the year after the weather throws something else at you. So it's been really, really dry this year. We've had to irrigate where we can. Plants are really clever. They realise that they're stressed, obviously. They want to produce the seeds, they want to produce the next generation of sunflowers. So they start putting all their energy into that seed head. They flower earlier. So instead of growing tall and putting the energy into the height, they're putting their energy into producing those seeds.
Last year they were, 8 to 10 foot tall in some places. They were really monsters last year.
But big or small, the sunflowers are still shining bright.
Look around, it's fantastic, isn't it? They make you smile. For the farm's point of view, it's a great diversification, but it also has another use because at the end of the day they will be foraged and they will be fed to the cows, but also it opens the farm up to different people that wouldn't necessarily access the countryside get to come and see all these, and it gets them out and about and gets them enjoying the fresh air.
You really can't help but just smile when you're stood here looking across at the field of yellow. These sunflowers, they're about 2 weeks early than they usually are because of the dry weather, but the farm here has still been able to grow almost 1 million sunflowers.
I quite like the ones with the brown in the middle because I think they're really pretty. I'm looking for the big ones and the little ones, like a bit of both, because I'm going to give them to my mum to put in a vase. Where the sun is, they face the same way as the sun. Bees collect pollen from the sunflower. It was amazing.
The flowers here will continue to bloom until the end of August, so there's still plenty of time to soak in their golden glow. Zoe Toes, BBC North West Tonight in Cheshire.
Didn't that look lovely? Someone else with a golden glow now, our own little sunflower. Ian's here with the sport.
Oh, look at you.
Ray of sunshine.
I love that.
On to women. Well, the women's Euros is over now, isn't it? All done and dusted. But that means that we can focus on domestic football.
Yeah, domestic football is back. Finally, the likes of myself have something to do at the weekend, a hobby/purpose. It's a staggered start this year with the bottom 2 divisions of the EFL getting underway first. Last night we focused on League 2. Tonight it's League 1. Again in the company of 2 men who've played in all 4 of the top divisions. Nicky Hunt there made 128 Premier League appearances for Bolton Wanderers, while Aaron Wilbraham scored many goals for many clubs, including Bolton and Stockport County, where he played nearly 200 times. In May, we were at Edgeley Park as Stockport County and manager Dave Challoner's hopes of a 3rd promotion in 4 seasons ended in the playoff semi-finals. Since then, some big names have left, including captain Fraser Horsfall and striker Tanto Alafe. Incoming players include record signing Malik Mothersill.
How do you get over a setback if you're Stockport and the loss of key players?
Yeah, I think Stockport had good momentum last season after coming up. They were unlucky really with the playoffs. I think they have lost some key players, but I think they've made some good signings as well. Mothersill from Peterborough is a great signing and just took Nathan Lowe on loan from Stoke, both really good goal scorers. So I think if they can continue on their good form last season, I definitely think they'll be up there, playoffs and above again.
County's opening game opponents on Sunday are Bolton Wanderers. Stephen Schumacher's first transfer window as manager has been productive and pre-season signs have been positive.
Fans expect. It's a big club still.
Can they go up this season? Can they progress beyond that?
I think we've been saying it for 3 or 4 seasons now that, can they go up? If they do go up, will they get the money to spend in the Championship? That's the biggest issue, I think. Schumacher's got the players that he wanted in, which he needed. But it's just that next step, whether it goes through the playoffs, whether it's, I think automatic might be a touch too far this year, personally.
In March, we filmed at Ryan Lowe's first home game as Wigan Athletic manager. Having steered them to safety, his summer signings include 3 strikers, with Hollywood club Wrexham's world-famous Paul Mullin among them.
For Wigan, it'll probably be an achievement if they make the playoffs. I think they're not as expected to be up there as your Stockports and your Bolton at this stage. Would you agree, Nicky?
I'd agree. I think Wigan have to bounce back from the home form. They have to get the home form sorted, I think, from last season and build on. He's brought some attacking players in, which is great. Hopefully excite the crowd, but they need the points on the board.
Blackpool's results improved after Steve Bruce arrived as manager in September. They eventually finished 9th. There have been outgoings and incomings, with winger Emil Hansen the latest player to join after helping Birmingham win the League One title.
I think they've got to be challenging as well. I think Steve Bruce is proven at this level and above, and I think he'll be looking for at least playoffs as well. Whether they can achieve that, but they've definitely got a good squad. I've looked at some of the players they've brought in last season and this season, and I think they'll be up there as well. It's a really strong league this year.
Steve Bruce as well knows what it takes to get out of the divisions, and he'll just be backing his team, and I think he'll bring in some more players before the end of the transfer window as well.
It all gets underway tomorrow. For our team, it gets underway tomorrow. Tonight, Luton are playing Wimbledon, actually. The consortium looking to take over Morecambe claims the club is on the brink of closure. Punjab Warriors say first-team operations have stopped because the insurance has lapsed. They and Morecambe's minority shareholders say the academy is shutting down today and the club itself will cease to operate on Monday. The company, who've been in talks with owner Jason Whittingham for months, say they remain ready to take over. Now, this comes as Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy has written an open letter to Mr Whittingham asking him to sell to suitable owners as quickly as possible. Well, after weeks of speculation, Liverpool have finally put the money where their mouth is and made a formal bid for Newcastle's Alexander Isak. That offer is understood to be below Newcastle's £150 million valuation of the Sweden international. Isak was left out of Newcastle's pre-season tour of Asia and is currently training alone at his former club Real Sociedad. Some reports this evening suggest Liverpool could now walk away from the deal. And Lancashire have suffered a rare defeat, based on recent form at least. They've lost by 154 runs to Glamorgan in their County Championship Division 2 match at Emirates Old Trafford. So James Anderson's was the final Lancashire wicket to fall as they were all out for 318 in a setback to their promotion hopes. Phil, here I am on the sofa.
You are.
How about that?
And I'm glad you are, because there is someone missing from the studio, because it is now time for the latest in Kay's 25 in 25 series, and tonight she's in Beetham in South Cumbria, a quiet spot just off the M6.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's at home to snow leopards, lemurs and the legend of the fairy steps. So, where is she? She's about to appear behind us. There she is, by the miracle of technology. Kay, how's the day been with these leopards and legends?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. A couple of months ago, I was in Hale village in Merseyside. I know you'll remember. Posty David got in touch, said, what about the hamlet of Hale here in Cumbria? So, obviously, I came along and it's been absolutely stunning.
I found out that you'd been to the other two Hales, and I felt that you should really come to this one, being the most attractive Hale, obviously. I like Hale because I've lived in the area a long time, and although I knew of Hale and drove around it and through it, it wasn't until I became a postie that I realised all the hidden little paths.
What for you is the most standout part of this area?
It's the people. The people in this area, on all the rounds that I now do, they're just lovely people, really friendly people. I regard myself as really lucky.
And if you had one day in Hale, where would you go?
I would say probably you would have to go to Wildlife Oasis.
It's just a snake.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
You'll be fine.
Oh God, its face is right next to my hand.
It's almost a hidden gem. We've got the Lake District on our doorstep. People drive past, they don't see it. It's a lovely place. You've got Arnside. We're in area outstanding national beauty. I just love the place. The sunsets, everything about it.
Wally, 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 wally. I mean, how do you call a wallaby? Wally. Are they calm?
Yeah. They have their moments, but as you can see, that's her. She's placid.
Fairy Steps, well worth a visit. It's hidden away in a little wood. Right, we've now reached the famous Fairy Steps, and legend has it that if you can climb up through the old coffin route without your shoulders touching the side, you will see a fairy, and if you see a fairy, you can have a wish granted. So get thinking on what wish you want granted.
Challenge accepted, David. I mean, it looks tiny. Done. Easy. David, I might not have got my fairy wish, but I've got everything I've wished for a 25 in 25. Beautiful views, bit of a climb.
Yes.
Great weather.
I'm very impressed you got through it, even if you did touch the side.
And a great tour guide. Love this place, thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a fantastic day. Who knew, though, I was so scared of snakes? Big thanks to Leon and everyone at Oasis Wildlife, and to David, of course. The hamlet of Hale here in Cumbria is spectacular. Is the weather spectacular, though, this weekend? Let's get to the forecast. Sunny spells on Saturday. It looks to be a fine day, to be fair. Some rain to start off Sunday, but it will brighten up. It'll end up being lovely. Then we've got a warning in force for the 6th named storm of the season. I'll come to that in a minute. This evening, actually, it's improving constantly. Cloud will continue to melt away, some decent spells of late sunshine before the sun sets just after 9 o'clock. And then as we head overnight tonight, plenty of clear skies, the breeze gentle to moderate, so it's probably going to get cooler than it has been the past few nights. Some spots will go down to about 9 degrees. 48 in Fahrenheit, cooler than that in more rural areas. Now, through tomorrow morning for Merseyside, Cheshire, through the Cheshire Gap, you're likely to get the odd isolated shower, few and far between. For most, it'll be dry and it will continue to improve through the day tomorrow. So variable cloud, sunny spells as you go into the afternoon, lengthy spells of sunshine. So a fine evening to come through tomorrow as well. The breeze stays gentle to moderate, top temperatures between about 17 and 20 degrees. Looking at the pressure chart, we've got high pressure in charge as we head through tomorrow, keeping things settled. But then we'll get a cold front as we head overnight into Sunday. So that's going to introduce stronger winds and outbreaks of rain. That clears through. And then we're looking at storm flurries for Monday. We're looking at unseasonably strong winds through Monday, gusting between 40 and 60 miles per hour. There's a warning already in force from 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. Tuesday. Do keep an eye on the forecast. So back to Sunday morning. It will be cloudy. It'll be a wet start. Some of the rain is likely to be heavy early doors, but it's a cold front, so it's going to push through really quite quickly. Brightens up behind it. It's going to stay breezy. Temperatures still lingering around about 18 to 20 degrees. As for the outlook, Monday is the one to watch, Phil. Do keep an eye on the forecast. Like I said, there are warnings in force. From me here in Beath, back to you. The sun's starting to come out. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much indeed, Kay. We will do, although we saw lots of lemurs there and that brought back some horrendous memories.
Terrifying. I was in a cage with them once for Northwest Tonight. They jump all over you. They've got cold, leathery paws. Terrifying.
Horrendous. Right, I'll be back at 10:30 tonight. Do join me then. For now, thanks for watching. Goodbye.